Do you remember the last time something truly felt special? Not merely pleasant, not simply enjoyable, but special. Perhaps it was your first bicycle, your first love, your first trip away from home, or maybe something as simple as waking up on Christmas morning as a child. Back then, ordinary moments often felt magical. A rainy afternoon could become an adventure. A cardboard box could become a castle. A summer evening could become a memory that would stay with you for years. Yet somewhere along the way, something changed. Movies don't move us the way they once did. Music doesn't hit as deeply. Achievements feel strangely empty. Even experiences we once dreamed about quickly lose their excitement. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus once said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, because neither the river nor the man remain the same." Human beings possess a remarkable ability, an ability that has helped us survive for thousands of years. We adapt quickly. The new house eventually becomes just a house. The dream job becomes simply work. The luxury car becomes transportation. What once felt extraordinary slowly becomes ordinary. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as hedonic adaptation. Simply put, human beings tend to return to a relatively stable level of happiness despite major positive changes. In other words, we get used to things very quickly. Think back to the last thing you desperately wanted. Perhaps a new phone, a relationship, a promotion. At first, it probably felt amazing. You couldn't stop thinking about it. But eventually, the excitement faded. Not because the thing itself became worse, but because it became familiar. And familiarity is the silent killer of wonder. More than 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher Epicurus noticed something curious about human desire. Most people spend their lives believing that happiness lies just beyond the next achievement. More money, more success, more possessions, more status. But Epicurus believed that unlimited desire inevitably leads to dissatisfaction. Imagine a king, a ruler surrounded by wealth beyond imagination, golden palaces, lavish feasts, unlimited pleasure. Most people assume such a person must surely be happy. Yet history repeatedly tells a different story. Again and again, kings, emperors, celebrities, and powerful individuals have discovered a painful truth. Getting everything you want does not guarantee fulfillment, because desire rarely disappears once it is satisfied. Instead, it changes shape. What was once a dream gradually becomes an expectation, and expectations rarely produce wonder. A person who once dreamed of owning a small house may later dream of a larger one. The person who longed for recognition may eventually crave even more. The cycle never truly ends. As Epicurus understood long ago, a life dominated by endless wanting often leaves very little room for appreciation. And perhaps that is part of our problem. In constantly chasing the next experience, we lose the ability to fully experience the one we already have. More than 2,500 years ago, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama, who would later become known as the Buddha, left behind a life of unimaginable luxury. He had everything most people spend their entire lives pursuing: wealth, comfort, status, pleasure. Yet despite possessing all of it, he remained deeply dissatisfied. Something was missing. According to Buddhist philosophy, much of human suffering originates from a single source: craving, the endless desire for things to be different than they are. We crave success, we crave recognition, we crave excitement, we crave novelty, and while there is nothing inherently wrong with desire itself, problems arise when we believe that fulfillment permanently exists in the next thing. Because the moment one desire is fulfilled, another often appears, and then another, and another. Modern life has transformed this tendency into a lifestyle. We are constantly encouraged to want more. A better phone, a better career, a better body, a better version of ourselves. The message is subtle but relentless. You are one purchase away, one achievement away, one experience away from happiness. But what if happiness cannot be found through endless accumulation? What if the constant pursuit of more is precisely what prevents us from appreciating what already exists? For most of human history, extraordinary experiences were rare. Entertainment was limited. Travel was uncommon. Novelty was scarce. A festival might happen only once a year. A traveler arriving from another land might become the talk of an entire village. Today, things are different. Modern technology has given us access to nearly infinite stimulation. Infinite music, infinite movies, infinite entertainment, infinite information, infinite distraction. At first glance, this seems like progress. After all, more pleasure should make us happier, shouldn't it? Yet paradoxically, many people report feeling increasingly numb, increasingly bored, increasingly disconnected. Because the human brain evolved in an environment where intense stimulation was rare. When extraordinary experiences become ordinary occurrences, our standards begin to change. Normal life struggles to compete. A quiet evening feels boring. Reading a book feels difficult. Silence feels uncomfortable. And slowly, without realizing it, we begin requiring greater and greater stimulation simply to feel normal. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer believed that human life oscillates between two states, desire and boredom. When we lack something, we suffer because we want it. We imagine that obtaining it will finally bring satisfaction. But once we get it, the desire disappears. And what often replaces it? Boredom. Soon a new desire emerges, and the cycle begins once again. Desire, pursuit, achievement, adaptation. Schopenhauer believed that much of human life unfolds within this endless loop. Modern society, however, has accelerated the process dramatically. The moment boredom appears, we eliminate it. We reach for our phones, we scroll, we consume, we distract ourselves. But perhaps boredom itself serves an important purpose. Perhaps boredom is not the enemy. Perhaps it is trying to tell us something. Perhaps it is inviting us to slow down, to pay attention, to reconnect with life beyond constant stimulation. Think back to your childhood. A simple afternoon could feel like an adventure. A cardboard box could become a spaceship. A rainy day could become unforgettable. Summer vacations seemed endless. Birthdays felt magical. Even ordinary moments carried a sense of wonder. So what changed? Did the world become less interesting? But perhaps something else changed instead. Children possess something many adults gradually lose: presence. Children rarely worry about next week. They rarely think about the future while experiencing the present. When children play, they are completely absorbed, fully immersed, entirely present. Adults, however, often experience life differently. We eat while scrolling, watch movies while checking our phones, spend time with loved ones while thinking about work, walk through beautiful landscapes while taking photos for social media. Physically present, mentally elsewhere. And maybe this is why life gradually loses its magic. Not because wonder disappeared, but because our attention did. As the philosopher and psychologist William James once suggested, our experience of life ultimately depends on what we choose to pay attention to. And today, our attention has become one of the most contested resources in the world. There was a time when boredom was unavoidable. People waited. They sat quietly. They stared out windows. They walked without headphones. They allowed their minds to wander. Today, boredom rarely survives for more than a few seconds. The moment silence appears, we fill it. With music, videos, messages, notifications, entertainment. But many great thinkers understood that boredom serves a purpose. The philosopher Blaise Pascal once wrote, "All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone." Perhaps he was exaggerating. Yet there is wisdom hidden in his observation. Because boredom often creates the conditions necessary for reflection, creativity, self-understanding, and meaning. Many of humanity's greatest ideas emerge not during moments of stimulation, but during moments of stillness. When we constantly distract ourselves, we may also be distracting ourselves from life itself. If nothing feels special anymore, the answer may not be to seek more experiences, more entertainment, more excitement, more stimulation. The answer may be the opposite: less distraction, less noise, less constant consumption. Because perhaps life has not lost its beauty. Perhaps we have simply become overstimulated. The Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Wonder rarely appears in moments of excess. It appears in moments of presence. A conversation with a friend, the sound of rain, a walk at sunset, a piece of music heard with full attention. These moments are still available to us. They always were. Perhaps nothing feels special anymore because we have forgotten how to notice, forgotten how to slow down, forgotten how to be present. The world has not become less beautiful. The question is whether we have become too distracted to see it. And maybe, just maybe, wonder is not something we find. It is something we remember.